why do I need to do this? I don't really feel like working on something because I wonder if it even adds value, if people need it. Anyhow, whatever I'm telling, I never get feedback. Oh, why should I do this? If this sounds familiar for you, then this is your wake-up call, because we're going to completely shift your perspective and show you the great potential that you have, and of course the opportunities that you have just in front of you, and you need to grab it so that you are unstoppable and you can help a lot of people with the work that you're doing. Sounds interesting? Yes! Do I hear yes? Okay, maybe not, but it's fine. I will start anyhow with point number 1, which is about when you don't feel motivated. Feeling unmotivated doesn't mean you're failing. It means you've been caring more than you realize. When you don't feel appreciated, your energy naturally drops, even if you're doing meaningful work. Feeling stuck is often a sign that your perspective needs a reset, not your entire career. And that's something really interesting. At some point, I had a call with someone. He was telling me, I don't know what I should be doing at work. It's just so boring. I don't really know how I can help my people. I just think I should do something completely different. But then as we started talking, I was telling that person, listen, you have a great opportunity. The kind of work that you're doing right now, there are thousands of people really wanting to have the opportunities that you are having. Because guess what? Something we might take for granted is something that somebody else really dreams about. So think about that. The work you're doing right now is someone else's dream. So just change your perspective about it. Because sometimes it's just a different way of looking at it. Because at some point you choose your career for a reason, because it has some areas that you find really interesting. And you just need to change the perspective. You know, instead of looking at it straight, you look at it from the side or a different angle. And as you start changing the perspective, you see the great things that are out there. Point number 2, you're doing more than you think. You might not see it every day, but your work is helping people directly and indirectly. The tasks you complete, the problems you solve, and the support you give all create a ripple effect. When you zoom out and see the bigger picture, you realize you're contributing far more than you thought. Have you heard that? So whenever you feel unmotivated and you think whatever I'm doing is not really helping much, think again, because all the work you're doing, it's not that you do it for yourself and nobody else can benefit from it, but every action you're taking, it has a ripple effect. It can influence other people. Let me say it that way. If you help somebody, for example, drafting an email, you might say it's a simple task, but no, you take time to train and teach that person, who in the end is going to have wings and can fly and can do the biggest output possible. And only that is possible because of the time that you invested to help that person. And that means for any kind of action you're doing, it's not that it's for nothing. No, it always helps people to be at their best level possible. Because here's the thing, everybody has a specialization. Imagine you are good in everything. You could do things by yourself, but I think in the end, it might be even impossible to do everything at the same depth of expertise. Meaning, the knowledge that you have is something helpful for somebody else. And by taking the time to share that knowledge, for example, with somebody else, you will see that this expertise sharing has a ripple effect, because then this other person might train other people, or this person might be the next senior leader or the next encourager, inspiration person in the company. Again, look at the task, but not just at one specific task, but look at the bigger picture, how you're going to help people. And you can already see, you might say, yes, it's just one task, but this one task can have a major impact. Even if it's the tiniest, the simplest task, like preparing certificates or preparing documents that just require manual work. But guess what? This seemingly small task can have a big impact because you give somebody else the moment of fame, the moment of recognition for their great work. So again, don't just look at the small picture, look at the bigger picture, meaning the contribution your task is giving to the overall output of the company. Not even company, but your environment. Point number 3, your role has real impact. You influence your team, your colleagues, and even the people who rely on the results of your work. Your presence, your decisions, and your effort shape the environment around you. Even on quiet days, you're part of something bigger than your to-do list. This adds up beautifully to what we just said in the previous chapter, because you might be saying, okay, it's a simple task, it's a tiny task, but how is it going to add value? Of course, it has a ripple effect. But let me put it differently. You see this piece of puzzle? This puzzle piece might be just one small piece, but if you put them all together, I have one more here, you will see that it creates a beautiful picture. And that's the same thing you can imagine with your contribution. You might add 1, 2, 3, 5, 100, 1,000 pieces to the bigger picture. But every piece is needed in order to have this beautiful picture in front of you. This means whatever you're doing, it adds up to the bigger picture. And there are people out there who really need your help. Imagine somebody tapping you on the shoulder and telling you, thank you so much. Your work helped me to really focus on my most important task, to analyze, for example, the situation more, to focus on talking to other people instead of doing the small work that I would have needed to do if you were not there. You heard that? So remember that the tasks you're doing, they're going to be value adding and important for other people. Which brings me already to the next point. Number 4, appreciation isn't always visible. Yes, you heard correctly. It's sometimes not even visible, but you see it with the way how people interact with you. They, for example, come back for more information, or they have another small task for you, or they have something else to share with other people, and other people come back to you for some more questions. So you can see here that appreciation isn't always visible, but sometimes it's good to read between the lines, because when you see that people feel comfortable talking to you, you can see that the work you're doing is value adding for others. And people don't always express gratitude. No, that doesn't mean that your work goes unnoticed. Sometimes the organization relies on you so much that they forget to say thank you. When you measure your value by your impact instead of compliments, everything changes. You heard that? So instead of looking at all the people telling you, yes, that was good, that was awesome, blah, 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 but instead, you shift your perspective onto looking at the bigger picture, the contributions that you're given. It gives you, first of all, more motivation because you know what you're working on. It has real life consequences. It has real life impacts for other people. And you can see that you don't need to wait for other people to get back to you and say, yeah, well done. No, instead you can already say, first of all, to yourself, but also you see it by the task that is handed to you. So this is very important. Instead of just relying on other people telling you, giving you the recognition, you will see by just looking between the lines, you will sometimes see recognition shows up in non-verbal ways. For example, you work on something and you expect people to say, yeah, thank you, well done, good, okay, you know, maybe not like this, but I'm sure you get the idea. But instead, this recognition expresses itself in a different way. For example, with a new position, with different people that you're working with. For example, with more experienced people or senior leaders. And by changing your environment, it's another way of the organization of expressing their gratitude for the work you're doing. So again, don't look at titles or words of appreciation. Of course, they are nice. Yes, I get you. But instead, focus on the output that you're giving, things that come back to you, or even how people react around you. Or again, also the kind of other opportunities that are coming. And one thing I like to do as well is, you know, when you work on a task, you already think about people telling you thank you. Because what you're doing is, I know this will sound really funny, but in the end, you're showing love to the work you're doing. And by adding love to this work is going to love you back. Meaning afterwards, people will come to you and say like, wow, this was so well thought. This was very helpful for me. Or they might write it down, or they might give positive feedback about your work to somebody else. Your manager, the highest manager, whatever. But if you give love to the work you're doing, you will see love is coming back at you in different ways. Words of recognition, different opportunities, or people, and this is very important, people respecting your work. You might not hear it, it's okay, because you focus on the work, the kind of type of work that you can do. And point number 5, very important, change your perspective, you change your power. When you shift how you see your role, you unlock a new level of motivation and clarity. You don't need a new job to feel powerful. No. You just need a different lens, a new lens. If you feel stuck, change your perspective and you become unstoppable. As you could see now as we walk through each of the different points, something that is very important to gain back your motivation is just to change your perspective. Because sometimes you just look at one area, you think, okay, this task, I should have gotten a lot of recognition. But once you open up your perspective, you look at the bigger picture, you look at the beautiful puzzle piece that you have in front of you, maybe 500, 1,000, 10,000, 16,000, you name it, piece. But you can see the work that you're doing, it has real life consequences, real life impact. Because whatever tiny action you're doing, it helps other people to be unstoppable. And that brings me back to the first example I shared with you in the first part, where the person was telling me, I don't really feel motivated doing the things I'm doing. But I told him in the end, listen, you have a great opportunity. The kind of job you're having right now is something that people around the globe want to have. They want to be in your position. So picture this, whatever you're working on right now, remember, there are people out there who really want to have your kind of job. And the cool thing is, with whatever task you're doing, be it an accountant, be it with technical topics, be it an engineer, be it an artist, whatever the task is, your work impacts other people. For sure, it's going to be positive, so that you encourage people to be the best version of themselves. Instead of looking at a tiny task in front of you, look at the bigger picture, how you can help people. Because you might say, okay, I'm working with 5 colleagues and I want to be a team leader, but I'm not there yet. Appreciate the moment you have right now. Look at the opportunities around you. And in this moment, you can still learn other things. And maybe with being positively within the team, you encourage people, you help them to see that no matter how difficult the situation is, they know they can rely on you as a team member. And maybe over time, as you do your work, you might be a future team leader. So remember, the work you do, it has a real life impact. If you encourage your colleagues to be unstoppable, they might bring output to the team that your whole team needed. All right, here we are at the end of this video. Remember, next time you feel unmotivated, it's not about making complete and drastic changes. Oh no. Instead, sometimes you just need to change your perspective. Instead of looking at one tiny picture, look at it from different angles, and you will see the beautiful contributions you're doing every single day. Because guess what? Everyone has a massive potential just sleeping inside of ourselves. So sometimes it can be difficult, but that's okay. As you do those small steps, you will see how your potential shapes throughout the time. And remember, next time you feel unmotivated, remember, it's about a perspective shift. You're doing more than what you're thinking. Your role has real impact, and appreciation isn't always visible, but your output is measurable. You can see what you're doing, with whom you're interacting. And last but not least, if you change your perspective, you change your power, and you gain back the motivation you need to be unstoppable. One last thing, you're doing more than you even realize, and your work matters more than ever. If this video helped you just to change your perspective and see it from a fresh angle, hit the like and subscribe button so that you will hear more of those videos. And let me know in the comments which point you liked and which perspective was helpful for you. Speak to you soon. Bye.